When heaven places its covering over a woman, the enemy can watch, plan, and whisper, but he cannot touch what God has claimed. There is a quiet authority that rests on her life, a spiritual boundary no hatred can cross. When the Lord chooses a daughter and surrounds her with his presence, the atmosphere around her begins to change. Storms may rise, accusations may form, and traps may be laid in secret, yet she remains standing when others would have fallen. People look at her life and wonder why the pressure didn't crush her, why the betrayal didn't break her, why the darkness couldn't claim her peace. It is because she is guarded. She is watched over. She belongs to God. Today I came to speak to someone who has felt unseen but not unprotected, overlooked but never abandoned. Maybe it is you. Maybe it is your mother, your sister, or your daughter. There are clear signs, undeniable signs, that a woman walks beneath God's covering hand. The enemy may attempt to interfere, he may try to delay, but he cannot cancel what heaven has secured. When God stations his presence around your life, no scheme of darkness can cross that boundary. Get ready to recognize the evidence of divine protection over you. 8 signs a woman is protected by God from evil people. If your story is hidden in these words, receive it. Because God is working for you even when you cannot see it. There is a spiritual awareness that rests on a woman whom God protects. It is not fear, and it is not suspicion. It is discernment placed within her spirit. Before harm ever reaches her door, before deception ever forms its full shape, something inside her begins to stir. She may not have evidence, she may not have proof, but she has an inner warning that whispers, do not step there. Do not trust this voice. Do not follow this path. This is the kind of protection that cannot be explained by logic alone. Some people call it intuition. Some call it instinct. But those who walk with God know it is the Holy Spirit giving early notice. The danger does not announce itself loudly. It comes dressed as opportunity. It comes disguised as kindness. It comes sounding like advice. Yet somehow she feels uneasy in rooms that others feel comfortable in. She becomes restless around people who appear charming to everyone else. Her spirit tightens when a conversation sounds smooth on the surface but carries poison underneath. God does not wait until the attack lands to defend his daughters. He places the warning before the wound. He sends the discomfort before the disaster. He speaks through quiet nudges before the enemy ever finds an opening. Many times, protection looks like a closed door you did not understand at first. It looks like a relationship that faded without explanation. It looks like a missed opportunity that later revealed itself to be a trap. There are moments when she looks back and realizes that what she thought was rejection was actually rescue. What she thought was delay was actually divine timing. What she thought was loss was actually God removing what would have harmed her future. The enemy may plan in secret, but God reveals in the spirit. The trap may be hidden, but the warning is already released. A woman under God's covering may not always know what is coming, but she knows when something is wrong. That inner check, that sudden heaviness, that unexplainable pause is not weakness. It is heaven's alarm system working in her favor. There is a calm that surrounds a woman whom God protects, and it does not make sense to the world. When pressure rises, when voices grow loud, when chaos fills the room, she remains steady. This is not because she is unaware of the storm. It is because the storm is not allowed to control her spirit. The enemy expects panic. He waits for fear. He hopes confusion will open the door. But when she stands in peace, his strategy begins to collapse. Peace is not weakness. Peace is a weapon in the hands of someone who trusts God. The enemy thrives in environments of anxiety and disorder. He looks for minds he can disturb and emotions he can manipulate. When a woman is rooted in God's presence, her peace becomes a barrier that evil cannot easily cross. While others react emotionally, she responds with clarity. While others rush into decisions, she pauses and listens. While others lose their footing, she remains grounded. This kind of peace frustrates the plans of darkness. People may try to provoke her. Situations may attempt to overwhelm her. Words may be spoken to shake her confidence, yet she does not move from her position. Her stillness becomes strength. Her quiet confidence becomes resistance. The enemy cannot operate freely in an atmosphere of peace because peace carries the authority of God's presence. Many times, her peace is mistaken for indifference. But it is not that she does not care. It is that she refuses to allow chaos to dictate her direction. She has learned that panic clouds judgment, but peace sharpens discernment. She understands that when her heart is settled, she hears God more clearly. The world expects her to break under pressure, but she remains composed. The enemy expects her to react in fear, but she stands in trust. And every time she chooses peace over panic, the plans formed against her begin to lose their power. There is a strength in a woman protected by God that cannot be measured by what she has been through. You cannot explain her endurance by looking at her past. You cannot understand her courage by counting her losses. She has walked through seasons that should have left her broken, but she came out standing. She has faced pressure that should have silenced her voice, but she still speaks with clarity. This strength is not natural. It is supplied from a source greater than herself. When others would have quit, she found a reason to keep going. When others would have collapsed under the weight, she discovered an inner stability she did not know she had. This is not because her life has been easy. It is because God has been present in the hard places. The enemy expected her to give up when the battle grew intense. He thought the disappointment would drain her hope. He believed the delay would weaken her resolve. But instead, the struggle revealed her resilience. Her strength does not mean she never feels tired. It means she refuses to surrender to exhaustion. It does not mean she never feels pain. It means she does not allow pain to define her future. She has learned how to lean on God when her own strength runs low. She has learned how to rise even when her emotions feel heavy. Every time she thought she had reached her limit, God supplied a little more strength to take the next step. People look at her and ask how she is still standing. They wonder how she continues to believe after everything she has endured. What they do not see is the quiet work God has done in her spirit. They do not see the moments when she almost gave up, but chose to trust God instead. The enemy underestimates women who draw their strength from God. He attacks their circumstances, thinking it will weaken their hearts. But when her strength comes from heaven, the pressure of earth cannot destroy what God sustains. When a woman is protected by God, one of the clearest signs is not just strength, it is her peace. This peace is not dependent on circumstances. It is not based on what others do, what life throws at her, or what the world expects her to feel. It is a calm that exists even in the middle of chaos. A quiet certainty that says, I am covered, I am safe, I am held. You will notice her peace because it confuses the enemy. He cannot penetrate it. He cannot shake it. When others panic, she stands. When storms rage, she remains steady. Her joy may be tested, her plans interrupted, but her spirit remains anchored. This is because peace is not just an absence of problems. It is the presence of God inside her, controlling her emotions, guiding her steps, and protecting her mind. The world expects drama after disappointment, anger after betrayal, despair after loss. But she surprises people. While they expect her to crumble, she bows her head in praise. While they expect her to shout, she whispers to God. While they expect her to focus on the problem, she focuses on the promise. And this confuses the enemy because he cannot manipulate what is guarded by divine peace. Her peace does not mean she does not feel hurt. It means she chooses to respond with faith rather than react with fear. It does not mean she does not struggle. It means she knows that every trial is temporary when God is permanent. Those who try to provoke her fail because they do not realize that her calm is strategic. Her silence is not weakness. It is strength. Her patience is not ignorance. It is wisdom. Her stillness is not surrender. It is victory. People will notice her composure, her measured steps, her ability to remain unshaken. They may not understand it, but God does. Her peace becomes a barrier against deception, a shield against lies, and a wall that evil cannot climb. She walks into rooms where the atmosphere is tense and walks out leaving clarity behind. She navigates situations that would trap others, and yet she moves unbothered because her peace keeps her protected. Her calm is the audible whisper of God saying, I've got this. I've got her. This is why peace is more powerful than anger, more protective than wealth, and more enduring than skill. It keeps her grounded, focused, and unassailable, and the enemy knows it. That is why he tries to disrupt her peace with lies, confusion, and chaos. But every attempt fails. She has learned that the more she trusts God, the stronger her peace becomes. It is a supernatural gift. It cannot be earned, it cannot be bought, and it cannot be broken by circumstance. Her peace is her weapon, her shield, and her refuge. And anyone who underestimates it will be surprised when they realize that she has already won and when the world thought she was losing. When a woman is protected by God, her strength is not ordinary. It doesn't come from human effort, training, or talent alone. It comes from a source unseen, a power that rises in the moment of need, that carries her through trials that would crush the unprotected. It is a strength that whispers, I will not be defeated, even when every sign says otherwise. You notice it when she faces storms that would make others collapse. She carries burdens without breaking. She bears heartbreak without losing her soul. She experiences setbacks without losing her faith. That strength is not visible to the casual observer. It shows up in quiet moments when no one is watching. It shows up in the prayers she whispers in the dark, in the courage she summons when fear threatens, in the resilience she demonstrates when the world doubts her. The enemy expects weakness. He counts on despair, failure, and fear. But what he does not anticipate is that every trial has been preparing her for more. Every disappointment has been strengthening her endurance. Every betrayal has sharpened her wisdom. Every loss has fueled her determination. What was meant to harm her only built her capacity to overcome. Her strength is not loud. It doesn't boast or demand attention. It is silent, steady, and deeply rooted in faith. She can forgive when others would retaliate. She can walk away when others would fight. She can endure isolation when others would crumble. And in all this, she remains anchored in God. She does not fight with fists, anger, or bitterness. She fights with wisdom, prayer, and divine courage. She moves strategically, not reactively. Her calm in the storm is evidence that she is not relying on her own power. It is evidence that she is aligned with a higher purpose. People will see her victories but never fully understand the battles she has fought in private. They will admire her composure, but they won't see the nights she spent crying out to God, the prayers that went unanswered for a season, the patience that was stretched to its limit. That is where her strength comes from God's hand guiding her, lifting her, and sustaining her. The enemy cannot break her because the power sustaining her is not of this world. It is divine. It is unstoppable. And every time he tries, he discovers that his attacks only make her stronger. Every difficulty only makes her more resolute. Every obstacle only reminds her that she is chosen, covered, and protected. Her strength disrupts the plans of darkness. It changes the outcome of situations that seemed impossible. It carries her through moments that would destroy others, and it makes her a living testimony that God's protection is real, active, and powerful. This is why strength without God fails, but strength with God becomes supernatural. Her strength is not hers alone. It is a reflection of the one who guards her. And anyone who underestimates it will soon learn that she cannot be shaken. When God protects a woman, favor becomes her shield. Favor is not about luck, wealth, or popularity. It is the divine hand that clears the way, removes hidden obstacles, and redirects her steps away from danger before she even sees it. It is the invisible hedge that keeps her from harm, the unseen force that positions her exactly where she needs to be. You notice it in the way doors open for her, opportunities she never chased, relationships that seem to find her, guidance that comes at the perfect moment. She doesn't have to force her way through life. She walks, and God makes the path stride. What looks like coincidence to the world is actually protection from above. It is God saying, I will lead you, and no weapon formed against you will prosper. Favor is not passive. It is active, intelligent, and precise. It interrupts the schemes of the enemy before they even take form. It prevents her from signing contracts that would have trapped her, joining friendships that would have betrayed her, or entering places that would have jeopardized her destiny. Even when she does not understand the reason, she begins to see the wisdom of the closed doors and the unexplained delays. Every no she encounters is a divine redirection. The enemy despises her favor because it cannot be manipulated. He can throw deception, seduction, and distractions, but favor bypasses them all. He can craft traps, disguise dangers, and hide threats, yet she is already being redirected. That promotion she missed, that relationship that ended unexpectedly, that investment that fell through, they were not losses. They were divine shields at work. Favor teaches her discernment. It protects her from what looks good but would harm her. It prevents her from settling for the ordinary when the extraordinary why is waiting. It ensures that every step she takes is aligned with God's purpose. She walks differently because her path is not her own, it is prepared. She moves with confidence because even if the world seems chaotic, she knows that her steps are divinely guided. Favor is also relational. It draws the right people to her, but it repels the wrong ones. People sense something unique, something untouchable, and are either drawn to it or pushed away by it. It is not arrogance, it is divine resonance. Those who mean her harm cannot get close, and those who are meant to support her cannot be blocked. Her life becomes a pattern of alignment with heaven, and it is unmistakable to those who pay attention. She does not boast of her favor. She does not need to. Its effects are visible in the outcomes around her. Opportunities appear, resources arrive, and wisdom flows at the right time. Her influence grows because she is in the right place, with the right people at the right time, every time. The strongest part about favor is that it is not earned, it is given. She cannot manufacture it. She cannot demand it. She cannot achieve it through ambition alone. It is the divine fingerprint on her life. Proof that God is not only watching, but actively intervening. It keeps her safe, positions her strategically, and ensures that every step she takes is productive, purposeful, and protected. Favor also blocks spiritual attacks. Where darkness planned destruction, light appears. Where lies were intended to confuse her, clarity arrives. Where setbacks were designed to weaken her, strength emerges. She is protected not only physically, but spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. Her favor ensures that her life remains on course even when circumstances try to derail her. When a woman walks in favor, she becomes untouchable in ways the world cannot comprehend. Her peace, her strength, her discernment, and her favor all work together to create a life that is unassailable. Those who oppose her will find themselves frustrated. Those who mean her harm will be redirected. And those who support her will become instruments of God's plan. This is why she walks boldly, speaks confidently, and loves generously. Favor does not make life perfect. It makes life purposeful. It does not remove challenges. It ensures she passes through them unharmed. And it leaves everyone around her in awe, witness, being the unmistakable sign that she is protected by God. One of the clearest signs a woman is protected by God is the quiet, unwavering truth she carries in her spirit. It is not taught, it is not learned, it is revealed. She knows what is genuine and what is disguised. She sees motives that others overlook. She understands intentions hidden behind smiles. She discerns lies before they are spoken and recognizes blessings before they fully appear. This revelation is not about pride or superiority. It is a divine insight, a supernatural awareness that shields her from deception. The world might see her as cautious or reserved, but in reality, she is tuned to God's frequency. She knows that the wrong move could compromise her calling, and she refuses to be distracted by things that are not aligned with her destiny. Her spirit acts like a compass, even when circumstances seem unclear, even when emotions threaten to pull her off course, she is guided. She senses the hidden dangers in relationships, the subtle traps in opportunities, and the disguised attacks of envy and malice. She may not have all the facts, but she has enough discernment to steer clear of what would harm her soul, her purpose, and her peace. God's revelation also teaches her patience. She does not rush into decisions simply because doors appear open. She waits for confirmation from the Spirit, trusting that what is meant for her cannot be stolen, and what is not meant for her cannot persist. This trust shields her from disappointment and heartbreak, because she knows that the timing, placement, and people in her life are orchestrated by God, not by chance. Her insight extends to people as well. She can read the energy in a room, recognize sincerity in a conversation, and sense hidden agendas. She is not judging, she is discerning. And when she acts on this divine guidance, she walks with clarity, avoiding entanglements that could derail her mission. Every warning, every pause, every intuitive nudge she follows is proof of God's protection at work. This revelation also aligns her with opportunities. She recognizes divine appointments and moves with wisdom. She knows who to trust, who to counsel, and who to avoid. She understands when to speak and when to remain silent. Every action is intentional, every response guided. The favor, peace, and strength she carries are enhanced by this spiritual insight, making her unstoppable in her journey. Enemies recognize this awareness. They feel the boundaries they cannot cross, the influence they cannot manipulate, and the truth they cannot distort. Her presence itself becomes a deterrent because she walks in alignment with God's will, carrying light into darkness, exposing deception without confrontation, and living in a way that disruption is impossible. The revelation of God's truth to her spirit is not a one-time gift. It is continuous. It grows with her faith, strengthens with her obedience, and sharpens with her intimacy with God. She becomes increasingly aware of her environment, her relationships, and her opportunities. She does not just survive life. She navigates it with purpose, foresight, and divine protection. Her spirit's insight also brings discernment in challenges. She sees lessons in failures, blessings in delays, and guidance in difficulties. She understands that God's protection is not only about avoiding harm, but also about positioning her to fulfill her destiny. Every trial, every setback, every no is a signal, a redirection, and a protection mechanism. Ultimately, the woman protected by God is unstoppable, not be, because she controls the world, but because the Spirit controls her path. Her steps are guided, her decisions informed, and her life aligned with divine purpose. She walks in peace, lives in clarity, and moves with confidence, knowing that nothing hidden can harm her, nothing disguised can deceive her, and nothing contrary to her calling can persist in her path. This is the final sign. She is spiritually alert, intuitively guided, and divinely shielded. She is untouchable, not because the world fears her, but because God covers her. And when her life unfolds, those who observe can see unmistakable evidence of protection, purpose, and divine favor. You ever notice how some women just seem untouchable? How no matter what storms rage around them, they walk with a calm that confuses even the most cunning of enemies? That's not luck. That's not coincidence. That's divine protection at work. When God puts his hand on a woman, everything shifts. People feel it. Even when they can't explain it, they know something is different. Something holy surrounds her. Some will admire her. Some will envy her. Some will try to get close for the wrong reasons. But here's the truth. Favor doesn't make her naive. Favor makes her discerning. It sharpens her instincts. It trains her to see intentions before they are spoken. She no longer entertains connections that drain her. She no longer says yes out of obligation. She no longer tolerates energy that disrupts her peace. And when she walks into a room, something supernatural happens. The atmosphere changes. Confusion is replaced with clarity. Chaos is replaced with order. Darkness is replaced with light. Not because she is powerful on her own, but because of who she is. Divine favor doesn't just bless her hands. It guards her heart. It surrounds her. It shields her from unseen attacks before they even begin. This protection is so precise, so refined, that betrayal loses its bite. Manipulation can't take root. Lies can't linger. Even when things appear perfect, her spirit knows when something is off. And she doesn't ignore it. She walks forward in faith, guided by instincts rooted in heaven. Favor isn't flashy. It doesn't always make life easy, but it makes her untouchable. It reveals intentions, exposes danger, and elevates her beyond situations that would trap others. She carries authority without proving it. She moves with confidence without demanding attention. And every step she takes, every decision she makes, leaves an unmistakable mark. Heaven has her covered. This is the ultimate sign. Evil cannot stay where she stands. She's marked by God. She's protected. She is unstoppable. And everything around her knows it.